I felt sort of a gut instinct that, I'd be really upset if anybody else did it.
Please lie down. What are you doing?
It's okay, Kate, you're safe.
What are you doing? Hey, I said, what are you doing?
What kind of genre would you describe this film as belonging to?
I've always described it when sort of telling people about the job I was doing as being a dark comedy. I think that's probably the most simple description. But it does obviously touch on so many different territories throughout the film, and which is, part of the brilliance of it is that, you're on such a roller coaster, and you never really feel totally kind of safe for very long in the film, and I think that's part of its brilliance. But broadly, it's easiest, I think, to describe as a dark comedy.
But I think it's also a sort of subversion or a kind of satire of the revenge movie too. It's dealing with something very, very serious, and it is in many ways. It's a thriller, it's a horror, it's a romantic comedy in parts. But certainly when I was writing it, I was aware that there's, tonally, I think the thing that sort of the vein that runs through all of it is a sort of very, I actually would say a very female way of dealing with this sort of thing, which is a kind of gallows humour, a bleak, grim humour that is so often the tone that me and my friends will discuss things.
Every week, I go to a club. I act like I'm too drunk to stand.
And Carey, what made you think that this was a part you absolutely had to play?
I mean, I think I just hadn't read anything like it, and it was unlike anything I'd gotten to do before. Sort of hard to describe. I mean, obviously brilliant writing and obviously a brilliant character, but there are just some parts that just feel instinctively, I pretty much sort of operated on instinct when it comes to sort of work, and I felt sort of a gut instinct that, I'd be really upset if anybody else did it.
I'm not the only one who didn't believe it.
We get accusations like this all the time.
Who needs brains? They never did a girl any good.
Can you tell me about the message that you think is the most important thing that people will take home from this film?
I think it's a difficult one because I for me, really, in making it, I wanted to kind of really provoke a discussion from people who'd seen the film, hopefully together, and afterwards discussed it, like I did when I went to see like Force Majeure or Midsummer. I went with people, Get Out. I went with friends, and afterwards we were all just talking about it. And I think that's the thing about this stuff is we've got to talk about it. It's incredibly important to criminalise it, of course. It's incredibly important to talk about it on a kind of societal level, but also socially it's something we need to address and we need to kind of be comfortable talking about, because it was so and is so endemic, it's so normalised. So that's a very troubling thing. It's, what do you do with something that, a huge number of people, a culture, a huge number of people grew up with? How do we start to sort of right those wrongs? And I personally believe the first step is to talk about it openly.
I wanted to be a doctor my whole life. Lately, I've been feeling like I might want to get back into it.